Once upon a time, in the old village of Obeledu, there lived a woman named Amarachi, so beautiful that when she walked past, people forgot what they were doing. She didn't need beads, makeup, or fancy wrappers. Her skin glowed like firewood smoke after rain. Her eyes were soft and brown like wet clay. Her presence bent the air. Old men stared. Young boys froze. Even married women paused, hearts pounding from something they couldn't explain. Some called her a blessing, others called her trouble, but all agreed on one thing: Amarachi was not like the rest of them. She was the daughter of Mama Onjideka, a poor widow who sold roasted plantains at the village square. People pitied the woman. How can such a fire-breathing beauty come from a woman so plain and tired? Some said she had no father. Others said her mother had gone into the forest and returned pregnant. But one thing was certain: Amarachi grew up knowing her beauty was both a gift and a curse. She didn't ask for it. She didn't want it, but it clung to her like shadow, attracting admiration and hate in equal measures. Men tried. Oh, they tried. They brought gifts, plantain bunches, yams, wrappers from Nnewi, small radios, even a gold ring one foolish boy stole from his mother. But Amarachi would smile softly, thank them gently, and say the same words: "I'm not ready." When they pressed, she'd shake her head. No touching before marriage. And that was the end of it. Some respected her, some sulked. One or two called her names behind her back, but none of them lasted. None of them got close enough. Until Obina came home. Fresh from the city, skin glowing with warmth, voice smooth like bottled honey. He wore perfumes that confused mosquitoes. His shirts were ironed like the surface of water. And when he spoke, even Mama Ngozi's cat stopped to listen. But all his fine swagger collapsed the moment he saw Amarachi by the stream one afternoon. Feet dangling in water, head tilted back, humming to herself. She didn't move, didn't breathe, just stared, like a man caught in a spell. By the time she turned and caught him watching, he had dropped the firewood he was carrying. "This one," he told his cousin later, "this is the one I will marry." People warned him. They always did. "Be careful," they said. "She's not ordinary." But Obina laughed. "She's just careful. A woman of value. That's the kind of wife I need." He chased her like no man had ever, with patience, with presence, with respect. He came every market day, brought things not just for her, but for her mother: salt, soap ingredients, a new umbrella. He played high life songs on his radio and waited under the mango tree near her house just to watch her walk past. And slowly, so slowly, Amarachi began to smile differently. She laughed more. Her voice got softer when she spoke to him. For the first time, she leaned in when someone leaned towards her. The village noticed. Women gossiped. The elders watched. "She's finally opening up," they said. "That Obina boy may be the one." So, when he knelt one afternoon in front of her mother's compound, holding a calabash of palm wine and saying, "Marry me, Amarachi. Let me be your home," the entire village held its breath. And Amarachi said yes. The wedding shook the earth. People came from far and near. Even those who hated her came to stare, to dance, to eat and whisper. The drummers drummed until their fingers blistered. The wine flowed like floodwater. Children sang her name. Amarachi the beautiful, Amarachi the bride. She wore white, Obina wore red. And when they danced into their new home, built just outside the village, near the old part of the forest, the village finally relaxed. But the real story was only just beginning. That night, the moon was fat and full. Crickets chirped like drummers testing sticks. The compound was quiet. Amarachi stood by the small window, fingers shaking. Obina lit a candle and held her gently. "My love," he whispered, "you don't have to be afraid. I've waited for this. Let me love you." She tried to smile. Her mouth wouldn't move. "Obina," she said, voice thin as smoke. Maybe we should rest first." He laughed softly. "Rest? My wife, tonight belongs to us." He kissed her shoulder. She flinched. And then, knowing there was no escape, Amarachi began to untie her wrapper. She turned slowly, and in the flickering candlelight, Obina's eyes fell on her bare skin. For a moment, everything was still. Then his mouth opened, wide, too wide, and a scream tore through the room like a spirit bursting through bones. His eyes rolled back. His body convulsed. He clawed at his throat. Blood trickled from his nose. Then silence. He collapsed and died. Just like that. No sickness, no fights, just death. The next morning, Amarachi sat beside his body, naked, except for a loose wrapper over her chest. Her face was dry, her eyes swollen, her fingers were cold. When the villagers arrived, they gasped. Some screamed, some crossed themselves. The elders stared back. What happened? He's not breathing. She has killed him. But Amarachi said nothing. She didn't cry. She didn't run. They buried Obina that evening. No one ate. No one danced. And that night, Mama Unjideka wept until she could no longer stand. The village turned against her daughter. She's cursed. She has a spirit between her legs. She brings dirt. No one said hello to her at the market anymore. The women refused to sell to her. Her mother's store went empty. Children were told not to look into her eyes. She became a ghost who still breathes. And Amarachi did what she always did. She smiled softly and said nothing. 2 months passed. Then came Chike, a carpenter from Oka, who came to fix the church roof. He was tall, quiet, full of laughter. When he saw Amarachi fetching water, he froze. He asked, people warned. He has killed one man already. He shrugged. Maybe he wasn't meant for her. She's cursed. He smiled. Then I will carry her curse. And he did. He bought her carved chairs, spoke softly to her, sat outside her house every morning and evening. Amarachi warned him, "You will regret this." Obina did. He said, "I'd rather regret than not try." And slowly, the villagers watched with dread. Another wedding came. This one was small. No drumming, no dancing, just 2 people and a priest. Some clapped, most watched with pity. That night, as they entered their tiny room, Amarachi held Chike's hand and said, "Please, not tonight." But he shook his head, smiling. "We are one now. There is nothing to fear." And as she undressed, he leaned forward and vanished, gone, in the blink of an eye. His wrapper still on the floor, His sandals still by the bed, but nobody, nothing. Amarachi screamed. She stood naked in the dark, her hands trembling, and this time she wept. The village lost its mind. She's a devil. She eats men. She must go. The elders dragged her to the square. Mama Unjideka begged, crawling on the floor. Please, please, she's my only child. Forgive her. But no one listened. They banished her that night. No trial, no defense. She walked into the forest with nothing but a wrapper and the name people had cursed. She walked into the forest with a heart pounding. The trees swallowed her. The moon watched her go. The village gate slammed shut behind her. She walked for days, mud on her bare feet, hunger in her belly. She drank from leaves, puddles, slept under trees. Each night she dreamt of the men who had vanished, their voices whispering, "Why?" But she had no answer. One afternoon, weak and nearly fainting, she stumbled into a village by the edge of the river Umunna. A woman selling akara by the roadside saw her collapsed by the shrine and ran to help. Her name was Awele. She was kind. She listened. When Amarachi finally spoke, when she confessed everything, Awele stared at her in silence. Then with a soft voice, she said, "You need to see someone. Not just anybody. A man in Umukezi. They say he sees what others don't." She gave her a wrapper and food and showed her the path. It took Amarachi 2 days. When she arrived at the shrine, her heart turned like a drum. The place was quiet. Palm fronds rustled softly. There were no skulls, no chants, no fire. Just a small clay hut with white chalk markings on the wall. She knelt outside. A moment later, an old voice spoke from within. "Come, deep. Come in, daughter of the waters." She stepped in. The air was thick, the room dim. The man sitting on the mat wore white, his eyes closed. He never looked at her. "I've waited for you," he said. Amarachi fell to her knees, tears bursting out of her eyes. "Please, I don't know what's wrong with me." The man said nothing for a while. Then he reached into his gourd, sprinkled ash into a golden bowl, and stared. When he looked again, his face grew still, then grave, then tired. Amarachi blinked, her hands trembled. "What did she do?" she whispered. The man looked down. His voice dropped to a whisper. "It was a long time ago. Your mother did something she shouldn't have." And that was all he said. The wind howled suddenly outside. The candle in the room flickered, and the screen turned black as they walked back in time. To be continued, watch out for part 2. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button, share it with others, comment, subscribe, and we hope to see you in our next story. Thank you so much for watching.